Role Blueprint's tagline is taking business owners from operators to genuine owners. And that is one of the strategies I want to talk to you about today, is exactly what is like one of our key strategies that we work with business owners on. The amount of business owners that I speak to that have sub 50 employees, and they are having to, not choosing to, they're having to work 6 or 7 days a week on their business, in their business, and they just cannot get away from it. So we worked recently with a accountancy firm in the northwest of England, and the owner there, Catherine, was working 7 days a week, and she didn't have any time for herself, and she was taking all the slack of the business. Now, that could be you, but you could be working 5 days. That could be you be working 4 days. If you're working more days than you want to be, and I mean genuinely want to be, if you're really passionate and you love what you do and you like working 5, 6, 7 days, then I'm not talking to you. But I'm talking to the business owners that, and maybe doing that, but they're not doing the things they want to work on. You didn't start your business to do your administration, to do your own books, to do X, Y, and Z. Let's find out the strategy that we worked with Catherine to free that. So one of her goals was to being able to have 2 meals, to be able to cook them, to have choose some beautiful wine, to have some beautiful home cooked food with her family. And let's find out how we got on with regards to achieving that. Story behind this is Catherine had actually purchased a business in order to be an owner rather than, working the 9 to 5 for somebody else. Probably similar reasons for us all, really. We kind of come up with a concept, came up with an idea, but this time it was actually a purchase of an organization, and we've gone at it. We're going at it full bore because we can do it better. We can do it different. We've got this 7 days a week problem. So what's the first thing we look at? First thing we're going to look at is an actual time motion study of yourself. So look at what you're doing every day. What I would ask you to do is to grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, fresh notepad, and have it next to you at your desk or wherever it is you place of work. Have that with you for 2 days. What I want you to do, it's a bit of a chore and it's a bit of a pain, but I can assure you this is a really good strategy to get you out of this issue. So basically, I want you to write down everything that you do for the whole day. Break for lunch for 5 minutes, get interrupted, ends up being 2 minutes. This is the question that they asked. This is the problem that occurred. This is the issue. This is what I had to break to, what I was doing to jump into, etc. from there. The level of detail here will help you in coming out of this. So if you're going to sit there and just write BD calls from 9 to 10, you can still have that and it will still work. But the more detailed you get into here, thinking about the questions that your team ask you, thinking about what distracts you, and that's what we want to find out. So this isn't an exercise to think, oh, okay, how do we fit more in? So if you're going to switch off here, that isn't what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say cut out YouTube, cut out coffee. This isn't that type of conversation. What we want to do is automate, delegate, and delete. Exactly what you're doing. And that's what I want to focus on here. Once we've got that time motion study, I want you to look at the 2 days that you've got. I want you to grade those tasks. So I'm not interested in the bits that you're taking a break and all that kind of stuff. This isn't that kind of time motion study. I'm pretty sure if you're running your own business, you're pretty motivated to keep that going and keep getting paid and keep the wolves from the door, as I like to say. Number 1 is a super simple task. So it could be completed by, anybody realistically in the business. It's a filing task. It's an admin task. It could be updating the CRM. It could be sending emails to clients. It could be formatting something, whatever it is. That'd be kind of your number 1 task. Number 2, it could be done by anyone. I suppose any task could be in essence, but it needs some training. And then number 3 is super complicated. Let's say you're a lawyer and you need to do X, Y, and Z. You need to be getting through that documentation, or maybe it's something like you're invoicing and only you're comfortable with doing that. You haven't got a finance person in the business. Think of things like that. So you work out your different rules depending on where your business is at, depends on where you sit. Once you've got that, then I'd start to think, right, so if your business is large enough and you've got your own employees, I'd be starting to think about, okay, so have we got employees in the business, members of the team that can take some of these simple tasks off me? So if you've got apprentices, you've got administrators, you've got an office manager, you've got someone in the business where you feel that those tasks should be passed on to that individual because they're level 1 tasks, then let's look at how do we do that and get that into their day. So it's a bit of relinquishing your responsibility here and getting that off your desk. Is there technology that can help us here? Can we automate? Can we delegate? Or can we delete that? So we want those ones, and then we want to look at, right, how do we instruct our team members to do those tasks? Now, you can do exactly the same with your number twos. So if you've got managers in your business, or you've got people that are more qualified or able to do a more complicated task, then you can identify that to those people, and identify each of the individuals that's got to do those tasks. Now you've identified, we've got 1, 2, 3 is probably going to stay in your desk. Let's not fight everything at the moment. Let's just get the easier stuff out. You've identified potential employees that could be doing those tasks, and I want you to write out really clear instructions and directions for that individual to complete those tasks. Create accountability on it, follow up with them. Have you done that? Yeah, perfect. Create a calendar invite, whatever it is, and make sure that you follow up with them for maybe a week or 2 weeks to make sure it's been done from the right quality, and also it's being completed to the right standard, but also it's being done. Once that's been done, you've then followed up with them. You can then obviously check the progress, check the quality, and then save that bit of training. So depending on how you've trained them, it might be a document. Make a note of how to do that task and save that in a folder. Create an L&D folder on your computer, put it in a Word document, write it out, and save that as a document. Now, once you've done that, review the outcomes, tweak the process, and make sure that it's right. And then follow that across all of the different simple one-stage tasks that you're doing. Then look at the stage 2 tasks, and it might be more complex, and follow that process. And you will. So what happened to Catherine? So Catherine reduced her working days by 2. So she's now down to 5 days a week. And she is now only working on level 2 and level 3 complicated tasks. Her employees are actually doing more, producing more. Their productivity is increased. She's getting more out of those people. They're not sitting there twiddling thumbs. They've got more to be getting on with. And she has taken the first step from being an operator in a business, so having a job, to actually being a real, genuine business owner. Now, a little bit of a side note here. If you've got a team and you're happy with that and you've got people you can hand that off to, then fantastic. If you haven't got a team and you're thinking, Alex, I haven't got anybody I can pass this off to, and technology cannot take over this role and these type of tasks that I've got, get rid of the tasks that you can and move them into your technology, build them into your CRM. But if you can't, I would suggest going down the route of a virtual assistant. Any questions on any of this, struggling with it, problems, issues, please do reach out to me. I'd be absolutely happy to help. And I'd be delighted, obviously, if you were to consider me as your coach/consultant to support you with implementing these strategies and creating that bit at the top of the business and making it a little bit less lonely by working with myself. But anyway, I really hope you got value out of this. And please do let me know how you get on with implementing this strategy. Speak to you soon.